I'm the chairman of a company called Upnology, and I'll give you my quick resume. It's called the P4 value. Starts with purpose, translates to passion, and that translates to profession, and it's my pleasure to be here. So those P4 values are highly aligned, and I'm pleased to talk to you a little bit about a cloud that's purposefully built to be trusted by both healthcare and life science companies. So when we look at who this sector is, it's a sector that is heavily regulated, frankly worldwide, by both FDA as well as our newest friends, the Department of Health and Human Services here in this country. But worldwide, the ministries of health regulate this industry all into the concept of protection of public health. So when we look at this sector, it's a very large sector. It deals with any food that is processed, cosmetics that are produced, healthcare that's provided to people, as well as medical research institutions, healthcare, insurance companies, and so on. So when we look at this sector, what we want to do is to be able to trust, if you will, the IT services associated that may impact our health and the life and well-being of loved ones. So we started a journey back in 2004 trying to figure out how can we take this ecosystem and build trusted IT systems that could in fact be trusted. It indeed was a challenge. So I want to give you just a little history how it all began. So when we first look at it, we modeled from FDA, the Food and Drug Administration in our country, kind of considered the 8,000-pound gorilla that has an amazing ability to seize product and do really bad things to companies that don't provide trusted medical product or trusted food or cosmetic. So the FDA began translating their regulations into actionable items related to IT, first with laboratory services. In other words, if you prove in a laboratory that the product is safe, and then you ship it and give it to people, and they become sick, you obviously have a problem. So they created this concept of what is called good laboratory practices. We then saw Excel and Word products coming into the system in the mid-90s that confused and concerned FDA inspectors because they were accustomed to an NCR form being filled out and an blue ink signature. So what that promulgated, as FDA would call it, is the development of a regulation called Part 11, which deals with the electronic document and it deals with the electronic signature. And it's basically wanting to be proven that once you approved or a quality assurance test was passed of this product, that the data cannot be fiddled with, that it is what it is. So that was the issue of what is lovingly called this concept of Part 11, is to be able to validate that the truth of the electronic document and the signature is accurate. And nobody went back in and fiddled with these data. We saw further in the year 2000 the aggressive advancement of what are called good practices. So the industry started developing good laboratory practices, good manufacturing practices, and most interestingly, what are called good clinical practices. What was most unique is FDA actually never wrote good clinical practices. It was written by an independent organization called ICH.org. They were socialized throughout the 50 nations, so-called economically developed nations. So today, you cannot conduct a clinical study without complying worldwide with GCP, good clinical practice. In 2003, we had an idea. In 2004, we organized a company here in San Diego, which is where it was headquartered, called the Life Science Information Technology Global Institute, which is why our friends called it LSIT. So LSIT.org was organized here, and it was modeled after the same organization that wrote GCP. So LSIT set about to develop good informatics practices. What's really important here, these are not standards. And it's quite important that we realize that these are truly what are called by FDA guidances to the best practices. It's all risk-based. So the higher the risk, the more you have to impose specifications, standard operating procedures throughout the operation. So simplistically, if we're managing tongue depressor we're making tongue depressors, let's not get really worried about it. But if we're making an artificial heart, yeah, let's really get worried about that. And that's the concept of what is called risk-based. So all GXPs are based on risk associated with what they're doing. As we know, Obamacare, election's over, it's here to stay. Part of Obamacare was the introduction of a bill called HITECH. Congress worked overtime to name it that. So the HITECH law amended HIPAA. That amendment was significant because it dealt with the IT services associated with healthcare. So that amendment caught the attention of a very large industrial organization called HIMSS. So HIMSS, standing for the Healthcare Information Management Systems Society, acquired LSIT because of this GIP. Long story, did you follow all that? So our company in 2008, Ethnology, we actually set about to begin building a trusted health cloud based on good informatics practices. Why was that? Well, the majority of our people actually wrote them. In fact, our CIO, Ford Winslow, was the lead author on all the chapters of good informatics practices. So HIMSS turned around and contracted Ethnology to continue that effort and finish the chapters, which, pleased to say, we've done that. So what we did is put into practice the actual management of a purpose-built cloud, trusted health cloud we call it, from infrastructure platform up the stack. So what's happening is that we're now seeing more interest in providing trusted systems. So when we look at good informatics practices, it deals with referencing standards, compliance systems. It's a risk-based system, so risk mitigation. And then the best practices related to IT systems that we as people would like to trust. And then, of course, it should have a return on investment. So I wanted to give you the history, let you understand, and show you a quick video that kind of captures another dimension of this. And it'll show you that if you take in the future and you see how IT has converged into healthcare, beginning most notably in the year 2000 as we mapped the human genome. That was done with supercomputing. So what began in the year 2000 was this transformation of the art of medicine to the sciences of health. And that is being developed by IT converging into this sector of health, human health. So as we watch this, I want to share with you that vision of 2004 as building trust.
Desiree Carvajal and Christina Russo. San Diego's Fox in the Morning.
5 major industries in San Diego are creating a medical revolution. They're all working together to build a global institute that would make drug research faster and more efficient than ever before. As Jennifer Brandt explains, it would all be done on computer.
We must get better at managing everything from typhoid to the common cold to HIV to cancer. We must get much, much, much better.
So, some of the most brilliant medical minds in the world are joining forces with technology that's equally as brilliant here at UCSD's Supercomputer Center. They call it Life Sciences Information Technology, a global institute.
This is not isolated to any one country. This is an international quest to improve public health.
Howard Asher, director of LSIT, says drugs and different therapies can all be tested through computer analysis.
We could essentially eliminate all the need for animal testing.
It's called computational predictive modeling, only possible since the discovery of the human genome.
And that's really the blueprint of a human being.
Now scientists like Dr. Phil Bourne, a professor of pharmacology at UCSD, can take a drug at a molecular level and match it to our blueprint.
So it's a sort of a lock and a key kind of arrangement. And the best key potentially makes a useful drug.
If we can do that and get real detailed information, we can then see at a cellular level what effect and what side effect may occur before any human is exposed.
But can we really trust a computer to test drugs to be used on humans? Asher says yes.
From the human genome, we've now come into the cellular level of the human. And at the cellular level, nothing can get by us.
Computerized drug testing, eliminating the need for animal testing and making the time and cost of drug research significantly lower.
It is something that we know scientifically can be done. We know from a global public health perspective it must be done.
At UCSD, Jennifer Brandt, Fox 6 News.
Drug research doesn't stop after it's been analyzed through the computer. All drugs would still go through human trials before ever being approved by the FDA. For more information on LSIT, log on to our website, fox6.com, and click on Hot Topics.
So what that tried to convey is that there is actually a taller order that we're trying to bring trusted IT services to health, and specifically public health. So we've all heard that medicine should be personalized. It should be personalized to our DNA, our genotype, our phenotype. We should actually be able to explore the biomarkers we express and to match a drug to that biomarker so that we reduce or eliminate adverse events occurring with bad drug or adverse drug reaction. These concepts are amazing, but be clear, the only way these concepts will ever be appreciated is through a trusted IT ecosystem applied to healthcare and the life sciences in developing these next generation products. So I'm trying to give you a storyboard here to give you the idea that this has been a journey. It began here in 2004 with LSIT. HIPAA was amended by the HITECH Act in 2009. HIMSS then bought LSIT and developed GIP, if you will, and is now trying to socialize it around the world. So free, if you go on the HIMSS website, you can download the first chapter. And it gives you an idea of the other chapters: relationship, security, risk management, infrastructure, and yes, the cloud. Equally important, things like verification, validation, training practices. It's all risk-based. And again, it's in concert to other what are called guidances. It refers to many, many, many standards. So these standards that GIP refers to are something that as IT professionals we know a lot about. We know a lot about IEEE, we know a lot about ISO, many, many other standards that are associated with the spectrum. But in addition to those standards, there's other standards specific to medical product, such as GAMP, or other products associated with healthcare, the practice of providing healthcare services. So when we look at this ecosystem, I think it's important to appreciate the complexity and the ability to trust the IT services. So today we wanted to share with you how in the world can we take something like a cloud service, we purpose-built the infrastructure and the platform. How we do that is by what is called applying highly managed services, what are called good informatic practices. We've actually put it into practice since 2008. What FDA and the FDAs of the other 50 nations around the world would love to see is a portion of a data center dedicated to healthcare and life science systems that can be trusted. What they would like to see is what these are called qualified systems. And they're qualified because of this highly managed service. So what is it that's highly managed? First, the infrastructure and the platform are built by prospective specifications, by people qualified to do so. Second is prospective quality control systems are put in place so that it's not haphazardly built and tested. Standard operating procedures are followed. It's not allowing the engineer just to go break and fix the system, but it's done by a documented procedure. And I'm going to intersect here. FDA has an old rule. If it's not documented, it never happened. So we need to appreciate SEC has the same rule as it relates to the compliance of Sarbanes-Oxley. So retrospectively, FDA would like to see the assurance of quality by a independent or what they call a quality assurance audit internal, that the control and the specifications and the standard operating procedures were in fact followed. They would like to see you test that and record and document those test processes. And they want to see that the system, the ecosystem supporting this cloud services is highly controlled, very limited access, and the whole process is documented. So that is what is called a trusted health cloud, managed, highly managed by GIP services. So the vision that FDA has is that they want to issue this guidance to companies and healthcare systems and give them the guidance of what is good informatics practices. They want eventually the migration to GIP qualified data centers, again, so that we, the people, and your healthcare provider can respect the fact that these systems have high integrity. I'm going to pause here. Where have we seen this same rule set applied? It's been applied to the financial systems, the global financial network, the network that basically allows financial transactions, wire transfers, trillions a day, electronic payroll. It facilitates our ability to do debt transfer at ATM banking. So these systems are very similar in that regard. Eventually, what you would see FDA and HHS require is that companies do an independent audit of their compliance with GIP. The reason our mothers taught us it's not nice to intimidate people, and it's particularly important to understand that FDA or HHS are not at core competency with sophisticated IT systems. So when you take one of those inspectors into a data center such as this and say to them, our data is there, down there, what did you just do? I assure you, you've intimidated those inspectors. So what they would like to do is what they did in the Sarbanes-Oxley is look at an audit where an independent audit is conducted by IT professionals to prove that the ecosystem can in fact be trusted. And then FDA wants to inspect the audit. So when we look at this future, where we're road mapping is we want to convert the trusted, or extend, if you will, this trusted health cloud. Again, it starts locally. We then vision it to go regionally, and then eventually nationally, and then eventually globally. So what we would like to see is that backbone, again, very similar to the trusted so-called global financial network, which is what is called a computationally intelligent network. In healthcare, we would like to see that network come to what is called the touch point. That's where you and your caregiver. So if you're diagnosed with something, he has a medical image, a radiology or pathology or histology image, that somehow that point of care that is going up and finding information germane to your condition. And it's happening in real time in what is called a computationally intelligent network. So that vision is a long way away. But I can tell you today, for example, as people, if you have your genotype, so you can get it done for $1,000 or so, if you have your DNA and you knew your phenotype, what do you do with it? What does your clinician do with it? The answer? Nothing. This country spent $1.4 billion to map the human genome. It has had zero impact to we the people at point of care. But the data associated with what's called computational biology is phenomenal. It's doubling at a rate of every 3 months worldwide. So yeah, there's big data. But right now, it's meaningless to us at point of care. And we have to shift that paradigm. So we see the value of building out this trusted health network as something extremely important to advancing public health, number one. Number two is the ability to use these data effectively at point of care and serve up computationally intelligently data that relates to the condition diagnosed at point of care. Takes into consideration other things. We want to eliminate the Anna Nicole Smith syndrome, where Dr. A, B, and C, each in their own specialty, diagnosed a drug, but Dr. C, unbeknownst to him, gave her the lethal dose. So computationally intelligent systems should follow the patient seamlessly. We should have each of us a virtual personal health record wherever we go, anywhere in the world. So these are the visions of what we're trying to achieve. I assured you it's not moving at the pace of IT, it is moving at the pace of healthcare. Very slow, very, very difficult to move at that pace, but it is moving. Any questions? I tried to get us back on time. I think we achieved that. Thank you very much.